Hello, everyone. I wasn't going to tell you how old I was until Ibifuru, outed me. So, I was hoping when I bounce onto the stage, you would think I'm one of you. Unfortunately, it is what it is. The good news I have for you is that I was once like you. And one day you're going to be like me. So, you have to work hard. You have to work really hard. And it's important that you keep that in mind because I feel very strongly that we have a challenge of time. My generation and the ones that have come before us, including the one that they often call in sometimes when they reflect on Nigeria, they talk about a wasted generation. I hope you can hear me. Sometimes they talk about a wasted generation in Nigeria. And those guys fight back aggressively. I used to call them a wasted generation too, but now I am kind of like where they were. And I know many of you look at us and we say, we wasted your time. The clearest answer to that, and the clearest indication of that, I think, is the number of people who actually want to leave Nigeria, not to come to Nigeria. I came from a family that lived in the US for a while, and my father made the mistake of coming back to Nigeria. And otherwise, maybe you would have been watching me on YouTube, or you would have been watching me on DSTV or something, dancing or acting somewhere. But he came back and he brought us back here, and he came with a fervor to serve his country. We landed in university campus, and we spent the next 20 years or so in that space. And Nigeria just grew on us. I often try to be very happy when I'm talking to young people because that's what they want to hear. I was going to suggest to the gentleman who was talking about CFA that he forgot the most important point. How much are we going? I mean, if you had told them that a CFA earns $50,000, once he graduates, I'm sure this hall they would have swarmed the stage. If you tell them that it was going to be $100,000 after once you pass the entry stage to the intermediate stage, please stay in your seats because it would have been even worse. And if you had told them that within 3 years of working aggressively as a business analyst, as a digital scientist, if you are as good as you wish to be, you could be earning as much as $150,000. I believe that they would have locked the door and kept you here until you started teaching immediately. For this generation, it's always ego ole. And they're asking a good question, a very, very good question. And the reason why they ask that question, why it's so important to this generation, I believe, is that they understand that the clock is ticking. For this generation, for the digital first generation, the clock is ticking much faster than any generation in human history. The amount of knowledge that you have to learn on an ongoing basis, the speed at which what you think you know becomes obsolete, the pace at which the things that you do you think are normal become things of the old. It's unprecedented in human history. And the worst part is that it's not slowing down. It's actually going faster and faster and faster. If you're 16 years old and you're in this room, your actual age is probably going to be about 30. If you're 18 and you're in this room, you're probably approaching 40. There is no time. And because there is no time, young people are in a hurry. I used to be in a hurry, but see where it landed me. I think you need to be smart about what you're in a hurry about. And for now, for everyone living in the kind of economy in which we live, in the society in which we live, looking across the internet and seeing the possibilities and seeing people like yourselves, what they're making of themselves, the great things that they're producing. When you go onto the internet and you hear of this Nigerian in Harvard, or this person in Stanford, or this person in London, and you think about all the guys who you were with in primary school and how many of them are still here with us, it is, of course, tempting, maybe even logical and rational to think that the only way that you can be like them is to go to wherever they are. Makes a lot of sense. For my generation, those of us who have been fortunate enough to work and acquire the resources to be able to do so, our children leave here. That's the diaspora that you hear about. They're out there, and they ain't coming back. They speak like ain't. You know, they kind of like wave at you on FaceTime. They have their girlfriends, their lives, and everything are out there. Even the big house that you built in the village, they're not going to come and live in it. They say, Dad, what am I going to do with that? He can buy it in a week of hard work. He can buy that big house that you took you 25 years to build. My dad started building his house when we came back. I was still a young kid. I was in secondary school. We finally moved into the house when I had finished university, so you can go and check. And today, not many dads are building houses. The majority of dads aren't even building houses anymore because there's nobody to live in those houses. What then do we do? What's the challenge? For people like us who have lived that life, who have walked that walk, who have tried to do things, it was 30 years ago that almost 30 years ago that I set up a company that with my partner, Pius Akibo. And we said to ourselves, we can do this. What were we trying to do? The internet, this thing that you have in your pocket, had just gone live in 1993 with the launch of a browser called the Netscape Navigator. For the first time across the world, people could browse through this thing called Navigator, and they could go to different locations and see content and pull down content and start to learn. And here we were in Lagos, thinking we could compete with the people out there. You know, young people are often foolish, like me. They take the kind of risks that people don't expect them to take. They somehow, for some strange, inexplicable reason that I keep wondering when I look at my kids, I just don't know where that confidence comes from. Why do they feel that they can do the impossible? Why did I feel that we could do the impossible? The best thing about young people is that you tell them as often as you wish, it won't work. They'll still go and they will try. So the one thing that Nigeria may have done to you that you must recover, you must dare to dream. You have to learn again how to dream like a child and to believe in yourself and your capability to be anything that you desire to be. Once you take away the capacity for people to dream big dreams, they are left with small things, and they stay small. There is no way that you can reach up if you're reaching down. And you can reach up as far as your hand can go, or you can reach as far as your mind can carry you to. Your mind takes you to really extraordinary places. You see things that are almost impossible to believe that they could have been brought into being by any human being. And yet somebody dreamt of a car that could drive itself. Somebody dreamt of a piece of plastic that if you break it, it will heal itself. Somebody dreamt about a heart that could be replaced, grown in a lab and put inside somebody's chest and it would work. People dream dreams. Thousands of years ago, people left Africa on boats that were made out of straw. No map, nothing. I'm 100% sure that their bellies were full of palm wine. Otherwise, why would anybody take a reed boat and go out onto an ocean that has no end? The person must be, something must be. Why would you? I'm standing here, and this is the edge of my knowledge. This is the edge of what I know and what I can see. And I'm looking out. Why, in God's name, would I step out? The people who innovate, who create new things, who change the world, and who move nations are people who take that step. These are not average people like me. They're people who carry within them this burning desire to be more. They know, even when people tell them it's not true, that they're different. They understand that the dream that they have is a dream that will take them beyond where the average person standing with them will ever see. They have looked into that place and they've seen not the end, just the horizon, and they know they may drown on that journey, but still they set sail. when you live in a society that stops you from setting sail, from pursuing your dreams, from even allowing you to dream, that society is stifling you. And that's when you get up and you leave. All the children that have left Nigeria and all the adults who have left at 60 years old are people who reject the idea that they can no longer dream. They want more, and they insist that they must have it. And so the question is, why can't Nigeria be the place where your full possibilities, your full potential can be achieved? Why is it that amongst these young people, there's this overriding sense that it is not here? I believe that the reason is simple. We have systematically shown them that it is not here. By the way we live our lives, by the opportunities that we give to them, by the way that we twist and turn and warp the selection process of having to know somebody, of having to come from somewhere, of having to have money in your pocket to bribe, of having to cheat, lie, steal, and bend. This is why they cannot believe that it can happen for them here. The innovator, the inventor, the person who thinks of a future, that man who stepped out across the ledge, the one who sailed out into the sea on a reed boat, a boat made of equivalent of paper, didn't do so because he knew somebody. He didn't do so because he knew anyone. He didn't do so because he was rich. He didn't do so because he knew what lay at the end. He went because in his heart and in his mind, he had a dream. And he had the will and the courage to pursue that dream. We take our children and put them in places where innovation can grow. And we are forming a new elite of disconnected Nigerian children, young people like you who cannot relate to you and who probably even pity you because they feel that they have it better. We are the ones creating that environment. And so my ask is, reclaim your capacity to dream. Take it back. Don't leave it with the society. Don't leave it with my generation. You have to decide on your own that innovation is where you will live. And where is that place? Where does innovation live? Does it live in rooms like this? Does it live in our pockets, on our computers? Where does innovation live? Where is that place where we can be all the time and innovation is our companion? The place is in the mind. Every innovation comes from the mind. It comes from how you fertilize your mind with ideas, with knowledge, and most importantly, the people that you mix with. Because the world is full of those who are look back and those who are look forward. Two types. They look back and they look forward. Those who look back have all the reasons why you will never make it. Those who look forward move with their heart, their courage, and their minds, and they insist that there is a possibility ahead. The more look-back people you have around you, I didn't say you should look around, but the more look-back people that you have around you and that you keep around you, it becomes impossible for you to move forward. The more look-back people that you have around you, the more difficult it becomes for you to become an innovator. The less you read and fertilize your mind with knowledge, with exposure, with experience, and learning from people who have something to teach you, the more you move yourself into a space where innovation will actually grow. Innovation is not an apple that drops on your head like Isaac Newton. Innovation is not some idea that comes when you have smoked something or you drank too much Red Bull. I know you. I know you guys. Red Bull and something, huh? I know you guys. Innovation is what happens when you exercise your mind like a boxer trains himself to fight. In the process of asking questions, questions begin to ask questions of the questions. The answers are no longer enough. You're constantly checking, thinking, asking where, why, how, what. In that process, one day, there will be a flicker. Something will move in your head. Something will move in your heart. And you will know that you've found one thing that's an answer to a problem that could fundamentally change the world. But if you forfeit that opportunity of thinking, of living in the place where your mind constantly asks and agitates itself, then you have given up and you've given in. Take it back. And in the process of taking it back, our responsibility has to be to consistently find how do we create those areas, those protective islands of innovation, where people can leave where they are and enter into those spaces. That's why hubs are so important. And that's why innovation systems are so important. But ultimately, one thing in this federal Nigeria, and I say it with due respect to everyone here, innovation will only grow locally. It can only grow local. You can't sit here and innovate for Japan. You cannot sit here and innovate for Zamfara. If you want to innovate around Zamfara's problems, please go there. If you want to innovate around Japan's problem, please go there. Innovation is always local. Our challenge in the South-South, in Port Harcourt, is to create an environment for constant innovation, a home for those who dare to dream, and an opportunity for them to mingle with people who also dream like them. And from there, possibly from there, the next big one may show up.